So maybe if I'm like thinking about someone who gives me butterflies and or something I really like, naturally I find myself up on a coffee table with my ween in my hand as a ballerina around there.
Naturally, you do. I mean, come on, everybody does it. Again, this is like one of those. This is a national lyric where he's like, guys, we can't stop thinking about our dicks at parties, right? Also, how many times have you just been thinking about the girl you like and you start ballerinaing and you have your cock in your hand and everybody just mouth agape, food falls out of their mouth. They're like, you need help.
Hello and welcome to the Lyric Boys. I'm Lucian Flores and today I'm speaking in a deep voice. Andrew, say hello.
Hello.
Now, the reason we're speaking in deep, handsome, suave voices is we're talking about The National, everyone's favorite baritone-led indie rock band. So, what is the Lyric Boys podcast? Well, I'm glad you asked, audience at home, even though you maybe have listened to this before. This is a podcast where we take one of our favorite bands and we take 10 of their craziest, wildest, funniest, most insane, absurd lyrics, and we talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, when we talk about lyrics, we're here to have a good time. We're not two smart boys doing great smart boy lyrical analysis.
No, we are not. No, this is not a podcast for smart lyrical analysis, as some YouTube comments, which we'll get into later, have suggested that we are. We're not. We're making jokes. And I'll tell you why specifically this is not for smart boys. Do you want to know why, Lucian?
Yes.
Okay. This is an embarrassing story, but I'm just going to tell it. I'm just going to tell a personal anecdote of why, if you're listening to this, do not expect a smart analysis. And I can't speak for Lucian, but I can speak for myself. When I was in third grade, they gave out IQ tests, right?
Oh, wow.
You take like a basic IQ test in third grade.
Oh, no.
I have since improved, but when I was in third grade, I don't know why, I scored a 90 on my IQ test.
What is like a normal functioning adult
like
who doesn't eat rocks IQ?
125.
Okay. Well, as a third grader, I don't
That's
expect
like
you to have a high
average.
IQ.
Okay, but the teacher went to my mom and was like,
Oh, no.
I think your son is challenged.
Wow.
And I have since scored higher than that. I will not reveal
Amazing.
my IQ because this is not the podcast to do it. But I will say, I actually don't even remember because I just remember being like in high school and being like relieved that it wasn't fucking 90. 80 is like a problem. If you score an 80, it's like, okay, you need to seek help.
Okay. So, audience at home, you understand the deal. You've got a man with an almost problematic IQ level and someone like me who thinks that licking rocks gets him sustenance. So listen, I'm pumped for this episode because The National is my favorite musical act. Woo! Wow, give it up. Audience at home, I am pumped for this episode. The National is one of my favorite bands. They are the band that defines my emotions. They're the band that defines my life. They're the band that soundtracks every single thing in my life from 2010 on.
So we transitioned from Blink-182, which is a huge defining band for myself. Mm-hmm. Now we're talking about The National, a huge defining band for you. I was introduced to The National by you. In recent years. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't. You and like and like the boys,
my National squad, all my high school friends, we stand The National.
Right. So you and the boys listen to The National. I don't really know too many people outside of that group that does. So, Lucian, can you give us some National? Talk about them.
I'm going to tell you who The National is. I discovered The National by writing an essay to try to get into college. And the essay I wrote was about music. And I had a list of bands I liked. And then someone proofread it and added a third band in there just like to continue the example. And they wrote The National. And I was like, what the fuck? Who's The National? I didn't write this band in my essay. Why did you do that? And they were like,
what were the other bands? What
I was probably mentioning like the White Stripes and a band I would have liked in, like, I think I was, okay, this college essay was probably about like the diversity of music taste in my family. My dad likes all this Andean music and my mom loves classic rock. And then I learned about modern music and I brought it to them. So I probably mentioned like the White Stripes, or at that time was super into like Cold War kids and stuff like that. And I think this person just wrote The National. And I was like confused about that. I was like, I did not write this band. I don't know who they are. That is a very vague band name. Flash cut.
Were you like The National what? You forgot your sentence. You forgot to finish your sentence.
Yeah, I definitely was. Anyway, so The National. I first listened to them in 2010 with their album High Violet, which I still think is their best album. But listen, this band is a band of just men being dudes, you know? You've got, when you listen to this band, what?
I don't know what that means. Please explain. Please explain.
So Wikipedia describes The National as indie rock, alternative rock, post-punk revival, art rock, and folk rock. They've been around in some form since 1999, and their big calling card, if you listen to the band, is the lead singer Matt Berninger's very, very deep voice and very interesting, kind of abstract lyrics.
His name is Matt Berninger. I thought.
Yeah, not Berninger. I know.
Berninger. Okay.
Very abstract lyrics about just leading that middle-aged man life and having the weight of the world on your shoulders and just trying to get through life. So this band, they've released, I don't even know how many albums, but they've released a ton of albums. Their first two albums were pretty solid, pretty good. People, I think, jammed with them. Their first one was from 2001. Their third album, Alligator, which came out, I want to say, in 2005, was like, all right, we're getting somewhere. This band is a thing now. And then Boxer was like their breakthrough album in 2007. Their song Fake Empire caught the attention of one Illinois Senator, Barack Obama, who put it in his like campaign commercials, and since like every year put The National as like one of his favorite bands. In his
Interesting.
Like,
what
his,
song did he use?
Fake Empire.
What song? Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that was an album that The National had been around for a while as an indie band, and they were always like, this indie band is there and they're not huge. And that was kind of like their rise to superstardom of indie rock. I remember the New York Times put out this long feature about it, and I was like, damn, I like it. Then 2010, they put out High Violet, which is just a great album. Super depressing and beautiful and great orchestration, and everything feels like it's behind some sort of murky cellophane. Boys at home, you know what I'm talking about. Then Trouble with
Dudes being dudes, murky cellophane. Am guys, I right?
Hell
every man, every guy who's just like, I'm a man, is like, yes, I don't think that Lucian knows anything about being a man.
It's hard to intro a band I know too well. So then Trouble Will Find Me, their 2013 album, pretty good. Sleep Well Beast, 2017, what a return to form. It's The National, getting freaky with it. Add in some electronic elements, some drum machines, some wild and crazy stuff. Then 2019, they released I'm Easy to Find, which also was a short film starring Alicia Vikander, but also an album that, like, for the first time in their history, basically Matt Berninger did a ton of duets with various women artists. And it was like, okay, now it's The National with like different vocals as well. So they're
Taylor
known
Swift,
for just,
for example.
Well, yeah. So Taylor Swift loves The National.
Sorry to jump ahead.
Taylor Swift loves The National. So, you know, they did a duet on her album Evermore. Lana Del Rey loves The National. Paul McCartney once tweeted about his favorite bands, and he mentioned The National. Everyone who's cool loves The National. So they are known for just being a band of brothers. Aside from Matt Berninger, you've got the bassist and drummer who are brothers, and then you have the guitarist / pianist / like orchestrators of the band are also twin brothers. So it's a band of brothers, and it's a band of depression and sadness. So I love this band. I think they slap. Stieglitz, I gave you some national songs to listen to. What was it like to step into my world for a minute?
Yeah, so, well, I know the National through you. I mean, like, hanging out and stuff, like, you would always put on the National. So it wasn't necessarily
Sounds like a cool time for everyone.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily my first time listening to the National. Some of the songs, I suppose, individually, it was my first time listening to them. But overall, my impression of the National, yes. If you have tendency to be sad and, like, Lucian the psychopath, you like that tendency, no. I would say listen to the National. If you have tendency to be sad and you're like, I don't really want to be sad, I would say probably don't listen to the National.
Were you sad when you were listening to them?
There were a few songs where I was like, okay, I'm not feeling the depression. But then, like, if I listen to more than like 6 at a time, I do sink into a deep and profound sadness that resonates with me and reverberates. But yeah, so the instrumentation is always very good. I love the instrumentation that the National does. You're right. There is like that sort of murky cellophane. Sometimes it's almost a wall of sound. But not necessarily, because it is still easy to pick out like the individual instruments that are like creating this nice orchestra of sound. His voice, I think that his voice is very good. My personal opinion, the baritoneness is different and it's interesting. I like a nice tenor personally. I think because that's what I am when I sing. So like, If it's not like me, if I can't see myself directly in it, I don't like it. That's why I only watch movies with white people in them.
Nice. White Jewish men who are 5'9".
Yeah.
So the National, yes, they have this reputation of being this depressing band. And yet, I'm just going to say the boys a lot because I think that is a funny phrase. Me and the boys get lit to the National.
Yeah. And by the way, I hope I wasn't like, I do not want to like rip them apart because I hope I wasn't. Okay, good. Because I will say they are good. They are a good band.
Yes.
It's not necessarily something I personally seek out, but listening to them, I wasn't like, please turn this off. I was like, okay, I do like this. It's just not like if I'm going on a drive or going on a walk, it wouldn't be like my go-to thing.
So me and about 2 of my high school friends have loved this band since about 2010, 2011, so end of high school, early college. And then we've slowly tried to morph in other high school friends to like them. So now that there are other ones who do as well. And even though the lyrics are depressing, I find them a jam. I think I get hype over their sadness. You do. I've seen it happen in real life. I played the song Runaway for you once, which is just like really undulatingly, it's like kind of repetitive and just like a grower, and it's very sad. And I've been like, this fucking gets me going. And you've been like, I want to fucking take a toaster and go for a warm bath.
Have I said that in real life? Because it sounds like something I would say.
Yes.
Okay. That's funny. That you
2 more fun facts.
Well, that's interesting because the sadness gets you hyped.
Yes.
I feel like when I went to BU, when I first got to BU, and again, this is
Boston University for you content hounds at home that want to know where we graduated from college.
When I first got there, I come from a group of friends and a high school too that was super into like hardcore metal. So what's interesting is that you get hype over the sadness. I get hype and happy over very, very angry music sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, like listening to Slipknot, for example, and he's like, I stick my fingers into my eyes and the pain never stops. Jesus, the pain never stops. I'm just like, I love it. I'm so happy right now. I can do like the Carlton dance to that. Just like,
amazing.
Yeah,
Whenever,
and that makes me so like, hey, sadness could make you very happy.
One of my friends knows piano, so whenever we're at like a party where there's like a piano, which is occasionally, not too often, he'll start playing the National. We're like, yes, you king, you fucking glorious legend. Look at you soaking up the limelight, playing our tunes. Nice. All right. So yeah, this is a long intro, and I realize that I don't know how to distill this band because I like them too much, and I don't know how to fucking describe them. So,
I think that's okay. And I think that people who initially click on this podcast specifically right now, since we don't have a lot of fans, they're clicking on it because they want to hear the National.
You son of a bitch. Listen, content hounds at home, we appreciate each and every one of you, and we want you to do one thing for us. Can you just take a moment right now and subscribe to this podcast? It fills our hearts with joy and excitement beyond reason. And listen, we love it when you take a moment and reach out to us at any of our social media channels, which is all the social media channels at the Lyric Boys. Because listen, we just received a YouTube comments today that I gotta read. This guy on YouTube, Lemmy Adam, which I realize right now is a pun, and his name is probably not Lemmy, last name Adam.
Wait,
watched our Blink 182 video on YouTube.
What is the pun?
Let me at him. Lemmy Adam.
Okay.
That's the pun.
Okay.
So this guy comments and he's like, yeah, of course Machine Gun Kelly is copying elements of Blink 182 style. And basically is like, yeah, obviously. And then he goes, anyway, you guys are great and really funny. So I appreciate that vibe. I love that vibe. You know what, Lemmy Adam? Your name is really great and funny, and I appreciate you as an audience member.
Can I say, I feel like I personally, with the things that I say, get the most hate in the comments. I feel like they're really directed at me. Okay, so that comment was specifically directed at something I said about Machine Gun Kelly trying to sound like Tom DeLonge. We had somebody comment on our Idols video saying, do you even know what staccato means? We had somebody comment on our Weezer video asking if we were retarded. And I feel like that was also directed at something I said.
You just
because I was mentioning like, he'll walk away and he'll be naked in like 6 hours.
We were talking about the sweater song, and we made a joke about the sweater song being a song that is just like someone walking away from an explosion, but a really like lame version of that, where you're walking away for 6 hours and your sweater falls off. And someone commented like,
you ripped the mic out of
I turned off my mic. This person was like, listen, you dummy, the sweater song is not about that. It's about a breakup. You guys are dumb. And it's like, dude, we know this song isn't about a really badass way to exit a room. We know that. Anyway, we are going off, and we're probably going to cut a lot of this. All right. Point is, people at home, we love it when you subscribe and talk to us. It is my favorite part of my day.
Yes.
All right.
It's also my favorite thing to get hate. It genuinely entertains me.
Oh, yeah. It's so funny to me.
So, the National, do you want to get into it?
Yeah. I'll give my first National lyric. So we'll start strong. We'll do it for my favorite National song, Slow Show, off of the album Boxer. And the song, the lyric, well, first of all, the song is a jam, as all songs are. The song is about love, and then the narrator of the song is like, baby, when I've been missing you my whole life, and then I found you at 29 years old, and oh, baby, that is a beautiful thing. So the lyric in this guy thinking about his lover and being at a party without his lover is, can I get a minute of not being nervous and not thinking of my dick? That is the lyric. It's this guy at a party, just not wanting to be nervous and wants to stop thinking about his dick.
I feel like this is a very specific problem that only he has.
Matt Berninger just can't stop thinking about
personally, I don't want to like shame him into saying like, hey, that's weird. But it's a little weird. Like, I don't think I've ever been at a party and been like, my dick. Like, I feel like that is a very specific personal problem. And like, he puts it in a song, which is interesting because I feel like when I write songs, I'm like, oh, this is a universal problem that maybe people can relate to.
Yeah.
This problem, to me at least, seems very specific.
Maybe it should have been, can I get a minute of not being nervous and not thinking of my genitalia?
Oh, okay. Interesting. I have thought of my genitalia before. No, I've never been at a party being like, oh, let me just go get another beer. Fuck. I thought about my dick again.
Two things come to mind here. One is that, can I get a minute of not being nervous? I think is a relatable feeling at a party.
If
you don't know many people, you're like, oh, I'm too nervous.
Yes.
But then it's like, oh man, but my dick. Oh no. I like that that's an intrusive thought. That this guy's like having a good time and he's like, my dick. And he's like, oh.
Yeah, well, what is he
damn.
thinking? That's an interesting. The point is like, what is he thinking?
Yep.
When he says he's thinking about his dick, is he thinking like, I have this really burning sensation down there and maybe I should get it checked out? Because then that would be a valid, you should think about that and you should get it checked out. Or unless he's just being like, I wonder what my dick looks like right now. Like what is the thought? Like what is he thinking about?
So I do, there is something more relatable to this if you pull it back a level, which is, have you ever worn pants that kind of strangely bulge up around the crotch area with the fly? And you're just like, I hope people don't think this is my wiener. I hope they know that this is simply just what happens when jeans bunch up. And then you're standing at the party being nervous, being like, oh my God, everyone's looking at my jeans, or I spilled water on my crotch. I was having a good time and now there's water on my crotch and my jeans are bunched up. I hope everyone does not think I am both erect and soiled.
Imagine looking over at a guy and he has a boner and he's pissed his pants. That what you're talking about.
You go over to your friend and you're like, Andrew, you see that man in the corner? Do you think he is both erect and soiled?
Yeah, that guy pissed his pants and now he's rock hard. There's the pilot episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm is about that specific thing you're describing, where you wear a pair of jeans and it bunches up and then somebody thinks you have a boner. Larry David sits down in a movie theater and the girl notices his jeans are bunched up and she's like, you have a boner sitting next to me, you're disgusting. Yes. Do you think that is what he's thinking? Because if that's what he was talking about, then he would say, I feel like he would say like my pants or like my situation or like being uncomfortable. He specifically says
I'm not being nervous and not thinking of my pants situation.
Well, maybe a more poetic way, but he specifically mentions, he says my dick. That's an aggressive word. Like
it is a very aggressive word for like a very sweet song, which is why I love it, and that's something the band does well, I think. I like it. Could also be him being like this animalistic man that's like, I'm in a party and all I can think about is
banging,
railing,
like having sex.
Yes.
You said railing.
You said railing. So, it could just be like this man who's like, I want to be at this party and have fun, but all I could think about is like having sex or something. Like someone
that's probably
who's tired of like the single life, I guess. I don't know.
That is probably what it is. And again, we're not smart analysis boys.
We're not smart people.
But I also feel like if he was really thinking like, I want to get a minute without thinking about, can I get laid at this party? Maybe he would say, can I get a minute without thinking about trying to get laid? Because I've heard that in songs. And that's a way more relatable lyric than like thinking about my dick. Like when you say, I'm thinking about my dick, that opens the doors, right? There are so many possibilities that you can be thinking about. Yeah. Again, STDs. You could be thinking about that. You could be thinking about
The general fragrance of it.
The general fragrance, sure. You could be thinking about like how you feeling down there. Like, are you okay? Do you need anything? Do you need a glass of water? It's vague. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, I do. But yeah, I do love that it's like a very sweet, maybe their most beautiful love song, and about like this person who wants to return home from his love and be his goofy self with. And it's just like, it is great in the midst of the song that is played at like countless indie boy weddings where the lyric is just, can't stop thinking about my dick. So
is this song really played at weddings?
I'd imagine it's played at indie boy weddings.
It'll be played at your wedding.
So, okay, I pulled some YouTube pulled some YouTube comments for this. So the first comment I saw was someone goes, "My daddy said to me that this is an amazing song. Smiley face." How heartwarming.
Wait, sorry. What was the comment? I zoned out for a second.
And yet you responded to it. "My daddy said to me that this is an amazing song." Smiley face emoji. So this person's just like, "My dad told me the song is amazing, so I listened to it." And then there's a comment on that comment that goes, "Your daddy would be right. I told my daughter the same. She hated it. Made me sad." And that was just, pour one out for that sad dad on YouTube sad who's dad. Like, "I wish you were my daughter. My daughter hates the National."
This guy goes every day. He can't stop thinking about how his daughter has let him down and that she doesn't like taste. The National. And like, he finds everything he comments on. This just happened to be about the National, but like every comment he leaves is like he's just like, "I think Trump should be impeached. Also, it's sad that my daughter doesn't like the National."
It makes me think of like me potentially as a dad with kids and what they think of my music taste, because objectively I have the best music taste and all my music is very cool and projects a cool image. And if my kids are like, "Dad, your music blows. I want to only listen exclusively to Trippie Redd," I would be like, "Child,
who the fuck is Trippie Redd?"
Child. Trippie Redd is that a real thing? Rapper. He's a SoundCloud rapper. I just picked one SoundCloud rapper.
You are cool. You know SoundCloud rappers.
Yeah, that's right. I know Trippie Redd. Ask me any Trippie Redd trivia question, and I guarantee I get it right.
Okay.
Anyway, let's move on to your first national lyric, because I will not have freaking mess.
My first national lyric. Let me mention also for the content hounds at home, it has been a week. My brain is a little fried.
We're recording this just so everyone knows. We're recording this on the week that went from Georgia elections to people storming the Capitol to
my girlfriend has COVID. It's
I forgot. Yep. That also.
Yes, she's in the other room right now, sick. I don't. Which is stressful because now I'm like isolating in our 1-bedroom apartment. Anyway, we're doing this podcast in the midst of all that. So I said I had zoned out before when he read the YouTube comment, and I'm going to keep that in as a nice little timestamp of my state of mind right now, which is not totally present, but I'm trying to be.
Amazing.
Okay, so here we go.
Like how you didn't need to. You didn't. Whatever. Give me your first national lyric.
I didn't need to. I could have easily cut it out, but it's staying in. Okay, my first national lyric. Speaking of Matt Berninger talking about his dick, we got another one. This is from the song Karen. And
off the album Alligator.
Off the album Alligator. Lucian, you know exactly what this lyric is going to be, probably, because you know where I'm going with this. The lyric is, "It's a common fetish for a doting man to ballerina on the coffee table, cock in hand." Can't even get through that without laughing.
Say it again. Just say it very dramatically to me.
"It is a common fetish for a doting man to ballerina on the coffee table, cock in hand."
I love the way you just like slowly lose it during ballerina on the coffee table, cock in hand. That's a very normal thing. I don't know why it's so funny to you. Okay.
Let's break this down word for word.
Please.
Okay.
Starting with its. Its is, of course, a contraction for it is. All right. First word done. You continue.
First word done. Okay. The word that makes me laugh more than coffee table, cock in hand is ballerina. That word makes me laugh so much in this because that image is so fucking specific. Have you ever had like a music box, like piece of jewelry, where you open it and it's like a ballerina twirling? It's like a ballerina twirling.
You know I'm an avid collector. We don't need to talk about it.
Right. Lucian is an avid collector of music boxes with ballerinas. But like to imagine Matt Berninger, he's like a pretty tall man, right?
Yeah, he's a tall boy.
A tall man in tights and a tutu, one leg up, one leg down, twirling a wrecked penis in his hand. What an image on a coffee table. What a fucking image to ballerina. That is such a specific image to like twirl. And not only to twirl, but he has his cock in his hand. As he said, I'm not saying that. He's saying that.
It's also a common fetish for doting.
Right. And he's just
it's not even just like, it's just one of those things. They all want to do it.
Yes. It sounds like he's been to therapy many times. And the therapist is always like, listen, we're going to help you with your fetish for ballerinaing on a coffee table with your penis in your hand. And he's just like, that's not why I'm in therapy, okay? I don't need help for that. You're the weird one, okay? I'm normal.
It's also like his therapist is like, yeah, we're not going to judge that. That is a perfectly human thing to do. And Matt Berninger is like, oh, so everyone does it. And the therapist is like, I said it was a reasonable thing that a human might do. And Matt's like, okay, case proven. Every single man does it.
He goes home after that therapy session. His mom is having a bunch of her friends over to play cards. And he's like, Mom, look what my therapist said I could do. And he jumps on the card table.
This is just one of those lyrics that is just like proves the Nationals' greatness as just the best thing ever.
Okay. Please elaborate on that.
The verb ballerina is fantastic. To use it as a verb.
Funny. That's so funny.
Okay. It is a common fetish for a doting man to dance around a coffee table, cock in hand. To jump around on a coffee table. But ballerina, that is hysterical. Because that is a slow little like nice put together controlled movement that this person is doing. I love it.
Yes.
I don't really know what it means. That is the funny
word here.
Do you remind me the definition of doting or dotting?
Can I tell you something? I actually just looked it up just now.
It is someone who's extremely uncritically fond of someone. So an adoring person. So, okay. So maybe if I'm like thinking about someone who gives me butterflies and or something I really like, naturally I find myself up on a coffee table with my ween in my hand as a ballerina around there.
Naturally, you do. I mean, come on. Everybody does it. Again, this is like one of those, this is a national lyric where he's like, guys, we can't stop thinking about our dicks at parties, right? Also, how many times have you just been thinking about the girl you like and you start ballerinaing and you have your cock in your hand and everybody just mouth agape, food falls out of their mouth. They're like, you need help.
I do like the idea of when because the way the band's process generally works is like the two brothers, the Dessner brothers, who are the twins, will write a lot of the music and orchestrations, and the whole band will then come together and like record it and then give the songs to Matt, who listens to them on headphones and supposedly like just drinks wine at home and like frantically writes lyrics to them. So he comes back to the band being like, boys, I just cranked out some lyrics. So it is very funny to imagine like they write this song and they're just like, oh, hell yeah, this number is a slapper. And they come back and Matt's in the studio and be like, all right, so this is what I present. And it's
it's like,
it's
guys,
very relatable, right?
A universal truth. And they're like, is it you just saying I love you? It's like better, more universal. Think something you do every day, you don't even think about it. Breathing? No. Eating? No. Ballerinaing on a coffee table, cock in hand.
So, all right. Well, yeah, I'll save some of this great discourse for later. Okay. My second national lyric is from the song Conversation 16 from High Violet. Once again, we know that there were 15 other conversations that preceded this one. Anyway, the lyric is, I was afraid I'd eat your brains. I was afraid I'd eat your brains. 'Cause I'm evil. 'Cause I'm evil.
Another relatable lyric.
If you're a man and you're in your 40s and you have a child and you are no longer the peak physical specimen you were in your 20s, you relate to this. You relate to any national lyric. Okay. I love this also because the way it's delivered in this song is very melancholic and very matter of fact. It is not a weird thing that I'm afraid that I'd eat your brains because I'm evil. It is just something that I bemoan as if
it's going to happen one day, and I'm just warning you.
It's also, this is the type of song lyric that I'd imagine in a Halloween song that's like Mr. Spooky's like Mr. Spooky's zombie song, and it's like some fucking hit number.
It kind of sounds like a Misfits lyric almost.
Okay, yeah. And it's not that whatsoever. And I don't know, have you ever worried that you might devour someone you love's brains?
Yes.
Exactly.
One time I had a friendly person over, and I accidentally unscrewed their head, and their brains were hanging out. And I was like, I'm going to eat them. But I didn't. I put them back, and I sent them home.
It's really nice of you.
Yeah.
I just love the self-awareness of it, too. It's like, this person is afraid he's going to eat the brains of this other person, and he's worried about it. And generally, like, you think he'd do something about it, but he's like really trying to stop this really bad habit of eating brains because he's just an evil person. Love it.
Well, okay, so again, we're not smart analytic people, but this is about like I'm afraid that I will like hurt you in our relationship, and I'll like cause you to be upset because I'm a toxic person, right? But
I thought it was about a zombie.
Very close. You're almost there. I know that you have a 90 IQ, but you're almost there. So I feel like this is actually more universal, although it's good that he has self-awareness about this, because a lot of times I feel like people who do this type of thing are like, it's not my fault. Like they're gonna write a song where it's just like, you were the bad one, you were the evil one, and like he's actually being like, I'm the evil. I know what I am, and I like that. I appreciate that.
Just look at the other lyrics of the song. I love it. I love it so much. But one of the other lyrics is, you'd never believe the shitty thoughts I have, or I think. The shitty thoughts, I think. So I guess he thinks shitty thoughts about eating brains.
Or probably like his penis. Right? He's mentioned that before.
Another of these lyrics is, we should swim in a fountain. Do not want to disappoint anyone. I like that idea of being a last-ditch effort with some friends or acquaintances. Like this, you're hanging out with some people. It's not going well. And you're at like Lincoln Center or something. And you're like, fuck, okay. No one here thinks I'm cool. I'm a disappointment. What would kick this night off? And you're just like, fucking swim in a fountain. I got to do that. Everyone would speak about it. I would be party king then. Right now I'm lame. That would jazz up this night, baby.
Yeah, I hate like hosting stuff. Like if I have like friends and stuff, like I don't like having people over because I always feel like so much pressure to entertain. And I kind of feel like that's what he's talking about there. Like where it's like, you have people and you're just like, fuck it, let's swim in a fountain. I know this fountain, it's like 10 miles away. We have to drive there. Get your bathing suits. I know it's 30 degrees out. But we could swim in it. It's probably illegal and we're going to get arrested, but how fun would that be? Am I right?
Hell yeah. Andrew, Give me your second national lyric. I'm dying to hear it.
Okay. My second... Okay. My second national lyric is...
Tell me.
It's from the song Fake Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Which you had mentioned Obama used in his...
Big fan.
Yes.
It's from Boxer.
From Boxer, the lyric is, let's not try to figure out everything at once. It's hard to keep track of you falling through the sky. Now, not knowing the grander context of this song, it kind of sounds like a skydiving trip gone wrong.
Okay.
Where, like, you go skydiving, right? And the guy, you have, like, the instructor who's on top of you. You're, like, you know, it's usually, like, in tandem. And you're falling, and the parachute doesn't open. And the instructor is like, uh-oh. And you're like, what happened? Oh, my God. And he's like, shut the fuck up. It's hard to figure everything out at once, okay? I got to keep track of you falling through the sky. And you're like, what is there to keep track of? We're going to die. That's what this sounds like.
Well, the first part of the lyrics, let's not try to figure out everything at once, for some reason gives me this image of, let's say it's a party. Okay. And let's say you have done everything wrong. You walked into the room, you opened the door, you hit someone in the face with the door, and you were like, shouldn't have been standing there. And you turn to them, and then your butt knocks over a table, and all the drinks spill. And then you're like, I'm walking here. Then you go, you make some terrible comments to some people. You say congratulations on the pregnancy, and someone's not pregnant. You make a racist joke for no reason, and everyone is like, dude, chill out. Like, you've just done all these things, and you're like, okay, let's not figure it out all at once. Just one thing. Let's talk about one thing I did. We don't need to talk about it, all of it. That's what I imagine here.
Well, yes, I like that imagery too. But like, if you picture skydiving, right, and the parachute, it's one thing. The parachute doesn't open, and the guy's like, "Let's not figure everything out all at once." And your skydiving partner is like, "Excuse me, there's one thing to figure out." And the fact that you are stalling, trying to figure out a lot of other things, makes me think we're going to die in 3 seconds.
We can't keep track of 3 things at once. The 3 seconds. That's a bad joke.
What could Obama have used this song for? Like, what?
To get hyped with his boys.
No, but I mean, it was in a campaign.
They've been Joe Biden just fucking getting hyped. Listen to the National.
This was a campaign.
Yeah. I think they used it. I know the National played like some campaign rallies for Obama. And I think this song was also used on a commercial.
And Obama was like, let's not try to figure out everything all at once. America, you're falling through the sky. Okay. Let's rein it back.
To be fair, I did watch... I noticed that I think I noticed like a Bon Iver song and like a Big Red Machine song, which is a side project of both Bon Iver and Aaron Dessner from the National, and a Biden commercial. So I think they just licensed it and stuff. Anyway, my third national lyric is from the song Pink Rabbits from Trouble Will Find Me. The lyric is, you didn't see me. I was falling apart. I was a white girl in a crowd of white girls in the park. You didn't see me. I was falling apart. I was a television version of a person with a broken heart.
Please elaborate.
2 iconic things. The idea of just me being like, I'm a white girl in a crowd of white girls in a park. I am anonymous, and it's just so funny to me. As a relatable image of just like, there are many anonymous things in the world. You can be an M&M in a bag of M&Ms. You can be a sardine in a sardine can. You could be a grain of sand on a beach. But the idea of being one single white girl in a crowd of white girls in the park, and suddenly no one knows who you are because you're just one gigantic blob of white girl, therefore there's no individuality, is amazing.
Just like Shrill.
Wow.
Just like, oh my god, did you see what I was wearing?
How many white girls do you think have to be in a park for it to go from, oh look, there's a bunch of white girls, to just be, look, it is a blob?
10.
Wow, okay, that's fewer than I thought.
Depends how big the park is.
Yeah, it reminds me of this one time I went to pick apples with my fam, and a bus from like NYU showed up, and everyone who got off the bus was wearing the exact same thing. It was like
just NYU shirts.
No, it was like everyone was wearing black leggings with Uggs and a flannel green and blue long sleeve shirt with a black puffy vest. Every single person in that group came off the bus dressed the same. And to me, that is like the stereotypical crowd of white girls in the park that the song is talking about.
Yeah. I mean, when you picture like a crowd of white girls in the park, because that is a specific demographic, what are they doing? I think they're
probably watching a Taylor Swift concert.
Yeah, okay, that sounds right. I was picturing them like they're laying out. They have like they're like in a circle, and they have like rosé, okay, right? Yes, and they have like White Claws, and they're just like chatting up, and they're just like gossiping about the boys they see. That's what I imagine.
Amazing. I also love the second part of this, which is, I was a television version of a person with a broken heart. Because just to be like, my heartbreak is so big, it is a stereotype of heartbreak, is very funny to me. And then it makes me imagine of like those cartoon characters whose like bodies just like fall into a puddle.
Yeah, it's like a Bugs Bunny type thing.
Yeah.
I like that image.
I pulled a couple of YouTube comments from this. One is someone just wrote, "It's been 5 years. Please get out of my head."
Oh my God, that's haunting. That is haunting. Imagine a song 5 years. Every day you wake up, it's there. You go to sleep, the song is in your head. It won't go away. You play other songs, and the song in your head is louder than the other songs. You go to a concert, and the decibels are turned up to 1,000,000, and you still hear that song in your head louder than the band performing.
You go to YouTube to like, for some scientist to potentially stumble upon that comment and fix you.
Yes.
All right.
YouTube is the place for that.
Here's someone who commented twice. So that's why I picked it up. They commented twice 5 months apart. Okay?
Desperate.
Well, the first comment was, "This band breaks my heart a little more every time I listen to them. And I love it." I love that idea. That's just like, this I'm in a toxic relationship with this band, and I keep coming back, baby.
Yeah, they're abusing me.
The second comment is, "I just lost someone I thought was the love of my life. I had to sever the ties. The path was leading nowhere. I will never hear this song without thinking of him. I loved our fantasy future, but it was never to be."
Ouch.
Ouch. The fact that comment came 5 months after the other comment makes me think they're related. Like, they discovered this song, like, "This band breaks my heart every single time I listen to them, and I love it." And then 5 months later, they're like, "My heart was broken because of this song, and I no longer feel anything. And that's why I had to break up with this person, because I no longer feel in general."
Do you think actually I'm going to go in a similar but opposite direction. Do you think that they were like, "I realized I genuinely love getting my heart broken because this song breaks my heart so much. So I'm specifically going to divorce the love of my life, my husband of 45 years, because I actually am addicted to this feeling now"?
I do like that idea. It's like, wow, I really like depressing music. Maybe I should become clinically depressed.
Let me go seek out ways to become clinically depressed. And every person who has depression is listening and being like, this fucking person who would do that is such a piece of shit.
I really love the beginning of the movie Up. Maybe I could have my spouse die on me too.
Can I say something? That, you know, speaking of a crowd of circle of white girls, it does kind of sound like a white girl thing to do, to be like, in order to feel what my brothers and sisters who are depressed are feeling, I sought out clinical depression myself by severing the ties with everything I loved in my life. Now I understand. Only then can I feel your pain. And I can just see the YouTube comments on that being like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Give me your third national lyric.
Lyric number 3. This is from the song Lemonworld off the album
Hi Violet.
Hi Violet. Your favorite album. You and your sister live in a lemon world. I want to sit in and die. Now,
I love that.
This lemon world sounds like a fun amusement park that's lemon themed. And like
yes.
the Ferris wheel is like you sit in like boxes of like lemons.
Mm-hmm.
And like the roller coaster just like looks like a big like lemon. Would you go to that amusement park? Would you go to a Lemon World amusement park?
I mean, yes.
Is there a need?
Would.
Do you think there's a need for Lemon Worlds out there?
I mean, I imagine the food is shocking.
It's just sour. Everything is doused
too
in lemon
sour.
juice.
It's like I ordered a coffee and it is fucking squeezed in with lemon.
Yeah, it's just lemon
The toilet paper is... I don't even want to talk about that.
It's lemon rinds.
Yeah. So that's what you think Lemon World is.
I think Lemon World is a fun amusement park, but so just by these two lyrics, right? You and your sister live in a lemon world. I want to sit in and die. So you and your sister, you keep on asking me to go to Lemon World. I don't want to go to a Lemon World. I told you already, Lemon World is a 3.5 hour drive. It's not worth it. The prices are too high. And finally, I agreed to go to Lemon World, and now I just want to sit here and die because this place sucks. I spent $55 on a ticket to a fucking Lemon World.
I love this song. I love the vibe it creates, but it's one of those songs that just... And I think a lot of national songs are this. There is no obvious coherent narrative in the way that Billy Joel might turn a tale. You know, like the National has no song that's like, well, Jim went to school in New Brunswick and then he met the love of his life on the sailing team and they had little kids who sailed the world.
Wow, you know, you're just improvising a Billy Joel song right now. We usually save this for the end of the podcast.
So the National, I know one thing that people in my life who
Jim
don't like the National will be like, they're like, the National is, their lyrics are confusing and it doesn't tell a tale. Each lyric is kind of like just nonsense. I love the way they are able to create an image and a feeling without like narratively weaving that. So it's like through these like strange couplets and like strange paragraphs of lyrics, you create a vibe and a feeling. I have no idea what a Lemon World is, but just the idea of I want to sit in and die because you and your sister live in this lemon world is such a great feeling. Like it's almost like this guy going on like a little pouty temper tantrum, and it's like, why don't you and your sister? I want to die. And it's just like I imagine like this grown man sitting like cross or like in a fetal position on the floor at a party because he wants to win an argument about like how he's so sad. Anyway.
Yeah, I do like that. I like the idea of like him being like, you and your sister, like I come home and all you ask for me is to buy lemons. So I buy lemons, and look how many lemons we have in this house. He opens the fridge door, lemons. He opens the cabinet, fucking lemons. He looks under the table, there's lemons here. You and your sister live in a fucking lemon world, and guess what, baby? I'm out. I'm done.
I like the idea that's like, ever since your sister moved in, everything is lemon themed. Okay? What is it with you two and lemons? That wasn't there when I met you. And darling, I loved you for who you were. I accepted everything. But this lemons thing, it goes too far, man.
Our entire apartment is painted lemon yellow. It's disgusting.
One of my favorite national lyrics is also in this song, which is, lay me on the table, put flowers in my mouth, and we can say that we invented a summer lovin' torture party. We don't have to discuss that much, but
that sounds like the movie Midsummer, if you've seen that movie. Have you seen that movie?
No, I have not, but I've seen the trailer and the poster.
Okay, well that's that movie. They called it before it came out.
It's just another one of those things that, it's like, who thinks that? Who's like, hey boys, it is a cool party weekend with all our friends. You know what we can do? Andrew, you go get some beers. Sarah, you get the camera. We're going to take some fun selfies. Abigail, could you just lay me down on this table and then put flowers on my mouth, and then we can call the patent office and see if this has been invented, because maybe we invented a summer-loving torture party. And Jerry, don't forget to get the hot dogs on the grill. Papa's hungry.
Call the Guinness Book of World Records. And then
everyone is like, excuse me, you listed 4 things, and that third one was simply absurd, and I'm shocked and leaving.
Ladies and gentlemen, the rules of comedy. Call the Guinness Book of World Records. This is the most tortured anybody has ever been. Lemons, flowers in their mouth. Terrible.
Sounds delicious.
Give me your 4th lyric.
So this is a little ditty from the Virginia EP called Blank Slate.
Wow, hitting us with an EP.
Yeah, hitting you guys with EP. So
we get it, Lucian. You like the National.
I picked an EP so listeners at home would be like, damn, Lucian is objectively the cool one. I'm going to go on YouTube and shit on Andrew.
You don't have to tell them to do that. They will.
They go to YouTube. They're like, Lucian's so right. Andrew, you are fucking dead weight.
You know what? Let's do. I want to release a version of this podcast where it's just you, but like it's this episode, but I just take out everything that I say just to see how that would sound.
To prove a point that, yeah. Anyway, so this song is basically, all right, I'm just going to give you the whole thing. There's a lot. There are 3 lyrics I struggled to decide. So I go out looking in parked cars for somebody famous to kidnap and love.
Okay. Wow.
Beat off the army with a tennis racket. That's my whole plan. But I keep it upstairs. Keep it upstairs for the grand finale. I keep it upstairs. Gonna be a blank slate. Gonna wear a white cape. But I keep it upstairs. Gonna tackle young girls off their beautiful bikes. But I keep it upstairs. Keep it upstairs. Keep it upstairs.
Okay.
You look concerned.
My initial thought is this. If you told me, hey, here's a lyric from Mark David Chapman, the guy who murdered John Lennon, and it was this, I'd be like, yeah, this sounds like the guy who murdered John Lennon. He's talking about keeping everything like up in his head and like, tackling young girls, and he's like, but I keep it inside. I'm gonna fucking kill the army. I'm gonna kill the whole fucking army with a tennis racket. Keep it inside. Keep it inside. Keep it inside. Time to murder John Lennon.
It reminds me of this movie that I have seen twice in my life, and I really don't like it, called Joker or The Joker. I don't remember. But have you seen that movie?
With Joaquin Phoenix?
With Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah. Yes, have you seen the movie?
Yeah, Can I? An unpopular opinion. I don't hate that movie. I think it's fine. I think it's a fine.
I think that is a very popular movie.
Yeah.
I mean, a popular opinion to like Joker.
Oh yeah, I do like.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets a little silly in some parts, but I don't think it's a bad movie.
Yeah. One thing in that movie that was eternally funny to me was the Joker's little notebook that he carried around with notes in it. And it reminds me of this. I feel like if you turn to a page in the Joker's notebook, and it's like, once again, find people in parked cars to kidnap, love them, keep it upstairs. And that's what this vibe is. I do love it because we're picturing like a kind of like unwell Joker-esque person, you know, or Mark David Chapman-esque person, someone who gives off bad vibes, let's say that. But I do like the idea that this could be like someone in a Brooks Brothers suit with a nice brown leather briefcase, a nice white shirt and red tie, walking down Park Avenue in the morning, leaving his Fifth Avenue mansion. This is whatever.
Yeah, terrifying.
This could be this person just going to work at the MetLife building. And this is the thoughts. This is the internal thoughts as they just walk to work and they're like having their normal life. And this is who they do. And that's scary to me.
Yeah. I mean, this is, again, like I mentioned, Mark David Chapman, the guy who killed John Lennon. You're talking about Joker. This, it seems like Matt Berninger is the most fucked up person that we've ever talked about on this podcast. I mean, we've talked about people who are fucked up in different ways. So like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Anthony Kiedis, he's only fucked up in one way, and that's just like he is horny as fuck. Dog. He's so horny. We've talked about like the singer of Idols is fucked up in a different way, where he's just like, I want to kill fascists, right? Which isn't fucked up. He's just like very angry about it, rightfully so. And Matt Berninger is a different kind of fucked up. He's like, he thinks about his dick a lot, but not necessarily in an Anthony Kiedis way. In a way that I feel like he wants to murder somebody and then just like expose himself. That's the vibe I'm getting here.
I think the National embodies just the thoughts of an everyday white collar mid-40s Midwestern worker who shows up to work and is like normal, and then deep down he's got this pent up anxiety and rage. Okay, so to break this down even more, first part is I go out looking in parked cars for somebody famous to kidnap and love. Terrible plan.
I mean, yeah.
Because not where you would go to find famous people to kidnap and love. You would go to movie premieres, perhaps, or I don't know, baseball games.
Content hounds. If you're looking to kidnap somebody famous and love them, take Lucian's advice.
Yeah, you don't go to parked cars.
Yeah,
parked cars generally don't have many people in them.
I'll tell you what. Here's who you might find in a parked car. You might find Lana Del Rey, not Lana. You might find Lorde doing her makeup in somebody else's car.
Ooh.
Long-time listeners.
The second part is beat off the army with a tennis racket. That's my whole plan. I love that, as if like someone shows up and they're like, we've got an intruder at West Point. And it's like one scraggly man with just a tennis racket. And he's like, bring it on, motherfuckers. I got a tennis racket.
Yeah. Well, it also, that line... and I know that it's not this, but it also sounds like a guy who's just like rallying for the Second Amendment. And he's like, what am I supposed to do when the army comes knocking at my door? Beat them off with a fucking tennis racket? If I don't have my guns, liberals, how am I supposed to defend myself against the army?
It also reminds me of the people who stormed the Capitol who like dressed up in like bear costumes. And they're like... Storm the Capitol in a bear outfit? That's my whole plan.
Exactly.
It's like they're arrested and they're in front of like a court of like the people. They're like, you are a terrorist. You stormed our government. what were you thinking? And you're like, I don't know. I just wanted to dress like a bear and run around the halls of Congress.
Matt Berninger was watching that, furiously scribbling out lyrics he had already written because he's like, fuck, I already said storm the Capitol in a bear outfit. They did that. I already said steal the fucking Speaker of the House podium. They did that.
It's like, what are you going to do with that Speaker of the House podium when you get home?
eBay.
You put it on eBay immediately. You're like, Speaker of the House podium. IDK, I found it on the street. Don't get mad at me. I did not steal it.
It wasn't me.
Reserve not met.
Oh my God. All right. So we got looking in parked cars for somebody famous and kidnap and love. Beat up the army with a tennis racket. That's my whole plan. Keep it upstairs for the grand finale.
That's a little scary too. That's like
that's a little school shooter. Doesn't it sound like a little school shootery vibes?
It does. Unless the grand finale is reveal this beautiful song to your adoring listeners.
Maybe it is.
And then I love it's gonna tackle young girls off their beautiful bikes, which I love that idea that he has to mention these bikes being gorgeous. It is an interesting place to put that adjective. He's not like tackling beautiful young girls off their bikes. He's tackling young girls off their beautiful bikes. Also, I think there's a demo of the song somewhere, or a demo of Slow Show that has these lyrics in it that is going to tackle young girls off their beautiful boyfriends, which I also find really funny.
Oh, that is funny. I think that the whole point of this entire song is he's coming out not as a gay man or a straight man. He's attracted to bikes.
I'm a bike stan, baby. What can I say? Kick me over. All right, give me.
Oh my God. My fourth lyric. Here we go.
Yes.
This is from the song The Geese of Beverly Road off the album Alligator. Oh, come, be my waitress and serve me tonight. Serve me the sky with a big slice of, what is it? Lemon. Here we go again. He is obsessed with lemons. Now, this could be this waitress character, serve me the sky with a big slice of lemon. It could be the sisters from Lemonworld. They work at the cafe at the amusement park, Lemonworld. He finally gave in. He's there. And he's like, fine, serve me the sky. Serve me everything with a big slice of fucking lemon. I'll give in.
Beautiful. Have I told this story on the podcast before of my experience entering Banana World?
No, I don't think you did.
So Banana World is what I'm calling Boston University's dining hall of my sophomore year of college. Hold
on, are you talking about Warren Towers?
I'm talking about Miles Standish Hall.
Oh, okay. Continue.
I'm calling it Banana World because it's similar to this Lemon World, where one day the dining staff, or BU, for some reason decided that every single thing in the dining hall for dinner was going to have bananas in it.
No, that is a nightmare. I barely like bananas. Bananas, like, I can tolerate, but like beyond just like a bite of banana, I'm like, get this fucking goddamn fruit out of my face. I
go hard for bananas. I stan bananas. I'm a banana maniac, a banana freak even. Okay. But it was a lot. It was just like, who thought we don't have themed nights normally. We don't have any other themed nights centered around one food. How do we suddenly have banana night here? And it was like the sandwiches they've got bacon and bananas, and there was like pizza, like Nutella chocolate pizza with like bananas on it. I like to imagine that someone like fucked up an order and just bought a ton of bananas. And they're like, what are we going to do with these bananas? We could give them to charity. We could disperse them amongst the other dining halls. And someone's like, no, Banana World. I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Listen, imagine a dining hall, all other foods gone. The only food left, the best food humanly possible. Bananas.
No.
Banana World. Patent pending.
I also have a funny banana story with college. A mutual friend of ours, I will bleep his name. His name is...
Okay.
He one day this is not one day. This is over the course of many dining hall sessions. He would swipe his card into the dining hall only to steal bananas and take them back up to his dorm room. And he did this so often that the dining hall staff caught on to it and they saw him doing it. And he would not go for one or two bananas. He would take like a dozen, like a bundle of bananas up to his fucking room. One day, he does this, and the dining hall staff notices, and they're like, "Sir, we're gonna kick you out. You can't come back here unless you're gonna stop doing that. Here's what they did. They took his picture and they put it on like a wall of shame. Do you remember this? There was like a Warren wall of shame.
No.
So they took his picture. But before he was like arguing with them, he's like, I didn't take bananas this time, I swear. And they're like, open your backpack. And he's like, no. And they're like, please open your backpack. And he does. And like a fucking sitcom, 20 bananas must have fallen out of his backpack. And I was standing there and I was like, why would you steal 20 fucking bananas? How are you going to possibly eat that many fucking bananas?
I don't understand why they were mad at him though. He was in the part of he had access to the dining hall. If you were,
I don't know.
He should have, you know what he should have done? He should have just eaten them one by one in front of them. Being like, this is what I eat. I'm still hungry. Another one. And he just unrolls the banana.
He DJ Khaled's bananas. And another one. And they watch him eat 20 bananas. This is going off the fucking rails.
This episode is long.
Yeah. We knew it was going to be long. If I knew this was going to be a long one.
My final national lyric is from the song All the Wine off of the album Alligator. So this is a song about a dude who's got a high opinion of himself, who is feeling fresh, feeling fine, feeling frisky, walking down the street. Mm-hmm. So the lyrics are, I'm put together beautifully, big wet bottle in my fist, big wet rose in my teeth. I'm a perfect piece of ass, like every Californian. So tall I'd take over the street, with high beams shining on my back, a wingspan, unbelievable. I'm a festival. I'm a parade. All the wine is all for me. And then later in the song, he continues this metaphor by saying, I'm a birthday candle in a circle of black girls. God is on my side.
So we talked about a bunch of white girls in the park. Now he's a birthday candle in a circle of black girls. Can you, Mr. National Stan, explain the difference and be sure to restate the question in your answer?
Explain the difference between a crowd of white girls, being a white girl and a crowd of white girls in a park between, and I'm a birthday candle of a circle of black girls. Yes. I will say, I have no friggin' clue whatsoever. This lyric has always confused me, simply because not only is he a birthday candle in a circle of black girls, to me, God is on my side, is like, I'm a birthday candle in a circle of black girls. That means God loves me. It's like, that's like something to brag about, right? To be that birthday candle. So to me, it's like this guy who just wants to get black girls to blow hot air on him as they blow out a candle. That's his dream. I Googled it because I actually had never known what this lyric was. And he was like, when I moved to Brooklyn, I was a tall white man and I was clearly, let's say, gentrifying a neighborhood that had a pretty big black population. And he felt very awkward and out of place. That's apparently what it means. But it is clear. This is like their most famous, like, what the fuck does that mean lyric in a band with lots of what the fuck lyrics. Yeah. It is certainly the what the fuckiest of them all.
Now, okay. Has there ever been a time where you're like, oh, I am a birthday candle in a circle of black girls?
It's kind of like a creepy guy a kid who's like, oh man, the girls are having a birthday party and it's only chicks. Oh man, if only I could somehow put my body in that candle. And then I'd get a front row invite to all the action.
It's like
oh shit, movie. A genie? Ah, genie, here's my wish. I wish to be that candle on that girl's cake. And the genie's like, creepy, but you get your wish. And then the kid's a fucking candle and he's like, hell yeah, this birthday party is going to be lit. Anyway, that's the movie I'm writing, coming to theaters in 300 years when society is ready.
It honestly sounds like sort of a John Hughes movie that was never made. Right? It's kind of like a weird science type movie. And then the girls, after he makes that wish, they blow out the candle and you just hear, like, because his voice is shrunken, you just hear like, oh yeah, that feels good.
From the director of The Breakfast Club and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, back from the dead, it's Birthday Candle in a Circle of Black Girls, the coming of age teen story.
This is specifically about the white person in this movie full of black people.
Yes. So that funny, but also the rest of the song to me is a vibe I love so much. When I just love the idea of you're walking down the street and you're just like, I'm a festival, I'm a fucking parade, and people are like, stop fucking walking in the middle of the street, and you're just like flipping everyone off. You're just like, I'm feeling good today.
My wingspan, like unbelievable.
Yeah, it is like when I am feeling confident, I'm like, hell yeah, my wingspan, look at that.
Yeah, my wingspan is not necessarily the thing that, like, I'm just like, look how good I'm feeling right now. Everybody check out how wide I can open my arms.
They see how tall I am. They know my wingspan is friggin' unbelievable. Also, I'm a perfect piece of ass, like every Californian. Like, we know all Californians have perfect pieces of ass. That's a given. Just like it's a given that it's a common fetish for a doting man to ballerina on the coffee table cock and hand. These are the givens in life.
He has a lot of preconceived notions that I think he would do well to maybe take a second look at, maybe evaluate and be like, I don't know if that's a given necessarily.
He's just walking in the street in the middle of the night. Car lights are hitting the back of his body, and he's just like, wow, those car lights really show off my wingspan. And people are like, get off the fucking road, you maniac. He's like, I'm a parade.
Yeah, it's the contrast. It's like in a movie, the contrast between like the character's brain and the reality. I feel like the contrast between Matt Beringer's brain and the reality is the same, but in every single song. Like in his mind, like when he is ballerinaing on the table with a cock in hand, you see like his point of view is just like everybody is like, woo, yeah, cheering him on, and he's like way up high on a stage. It's like a 12-foot stage, and everybody's like adoring fans grabbing him, and then you smash cut to reality and he's drunk, his dick is just out, and everybody's like, call the cops, this guy is exposed himself and he needs to go home.
He's like, thinks he's so cool, and yet he's just like puking.
Okay, my last
give me your
lyric.
Final national lyric.
It's from the song Bloodbuzz, Ohio. The lyric is, I was carried to Ohio in a swarm of bees. And I like this imagery. I'm picturing him being carried like a pharaoh in Egypt, but it's just bees surrounding him.
I like the idea that like you're like, where the fuck is Andrew? He said he'd show up at this party. I want to shoot him a text. And you're like, Andrew, what's up? And you're like, you text back, and it's like, oh, I'm being carried to Ohio in a swarm of bees. I was walking across the street and suddenly the swarm smacked into me, and I'm just somewhere over Pennsylvania right now, and I didn't know. I thought maybe Pennsylvania was our final destination, but I hear these bees. They're talking about Ohio, man.
It's like a cartoon tornado. They call Matt Berninger and they're like, "Hey, you said you'd be here like an hour ago. Where are you?" And he's like running, and he's just like, "There's a swarm of bees. They're chasing me." And he runs from Brooklyn to Ohio, and it's like a 5-day run, and he can't stop because if he stops, they're gonna sting him. And then he lives in Ohio now because he's like, I can't even go back. If I go back, they're gonna find me.
And they're like, "Sir, do you recognize that those were not bees? You were just incredibly high." And he's like, "Well, yes, I recognize that now."
This every song takes place in one day where he just gets incredibly fucked up. He does every drug. He drinks so much alcohol. He goes to a party. He ballerinas, takes out his dick. He walks in the street and he's like, "I'm a perfect piece of ass," and everybody's honking at him. He sees a swarm of bees, or what he thinks is a swarm of bees, and he runs away and ends up in what he thinks is Ohio. He tries to beat off the army with a tennis racket. He tries to eat somebody's brains, and all the while, this is like an 11-minute time span of doing acid.
All right, look at that. We just went through 10 lyrics by The National. There were many lyrics we could have done, but we did 10 because, hey, we have a format and we got to stick to it, baby. So listen, here's the point of the podcast where Andrew and I write our own version of The National lyrics. And generally what happens is Stieglitz forgets that this is a part of the podcast. And then he goes, "Oh, shit, I forgot about that."
I thought you were wrapping up the podcast, and now I fucking remembered that we have to know. How am I... What are... I don't even... How are we going to do that with this? How are we going to do that with this?
For people listening to the podcast and not watching on YouTube, Andrew just tilted his camera down just to reveal a gigantic full box of tissues. And then he just tilted back up for no reason. Ooh. Oh. So we're going to write our own version of The National lyrics. These are completely improvised. We don't
this
talk
is
about
not
this
a
before.
box of tissues, by the way. If you're curious at home, my mic is it is a box of tissues, but the tissue box is filled with plastic bags from the grocery store. These are plastic bags. I can't get them out. Anyway,
all right, Andrew, keep it upstairs, okay?
Going crazy. It's been an hour and a half.
We're just going to take like 30 seconds to write our own lyrics, and then we'll sing them or just say them to each other, okay? So hold steady, please. Okay, this is terrible. I have two objectively terrible lyrics that I wrote that are just the worst I've written on this podcast.
Look at how many fucking lyrics I just wrote.
All right.
Look at this.
That's really good.
I don't know if it's good. It's long though.
These are bad.
Okay, let me hear.
I can't. All right. So I have two lyrics because I wrote one lyric down and I was like, I don't think that's good. And then I wrote another lyric down and I was like, I don't think that's good. So I'll do both of them. My mom and my brother ate some bad mayonnaise. Wet.
All right.
Once again to the audience at home, we did not come up with these before. These are improvised in 30 seconds, and it's
that
late.
Is clear. That is clear.
My mom and my brother ate some bad mayonnaise, wet and eggy, painfully opaque. My stool is so healthy. I'm feeling fantastic. My father is proud of the man I've become.
Nice. That's great. That is great. He has fantastic stools. His dad is proud of him. I love that very, very nice portrayal of the American modern family.
Can I do it again in a deeper voice?
Yeah.
My mom and my brother ate some bad mayonnaise, wet and eggy, painfully opaque. My stool is so healthy. I'm feeling fantastic. My father is proud of the man I've become. Nothing rhymes. That's why I was disappointed.
I love it. I think that is really one of my favorite words to say on this podcast. Delightful.
Stool.
It's delightful.
My other national lyric that I wrote that is, I don't know. To be honest, I'm kind of freaked out. The bulbs went out at the knife shop last night. Woke up in a cold sweat. The knives are in my hand. I've murdered the goose down. It put up no fight.
You know, I can see both of these being in a national song for real.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I like that your signature lyrics are ones that don't rhyme. I specifically try to rhyme.
Okay. I rhymed night with fight.
I like that.
So, boom. That's one rhyme.
Here we go. Are you ready for mine?
Rhymes are hard, okay? Rhymes are hard.
We can maybe post a picture of this on socials because this is how fucking long.
Kind of looks like the Joker's notebook.
Yes. Here we go. You ready?
I'm so ready.
When I saw your brains spilled out on the floor, I laughed my bulbous head off because I wanted some more. I pretended you were my wife, but you've never seen me in your life. I pretended you were my friend. You took one look at me and said you'll always just pretend. Pretend you never took off your pants and showed your testicles to all my friends.
Okay. Objectively, just every line worse. Every not in a technical worse. In a this is a bad situation and a very bad man wrote this.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I got
like to be friends with
I
this
try
person.
to hit the points that we mentioned. So like,
Yes.
yeah, problematic. He's like watched somebody die. He uses like a weird adjective randomly. Like I laughed my bulbous head off.
Yeah, bulbous is good. I just like the idea.
He showed his testicles. Specifically, he says testicles.
Well, but so you start off with the dead person on the floor. It's like, I pretended you were my wife, and it was like, oh wow, yep, he murdered this random person. Your vision of Matt Berninger is clearly that he's a serial killer who just like is gonna snap any moment. He's in like that, yeah.
If you told me that you played an elaborate practical joke on me where you specifically got Apple engineers to engineer albums that like say The National and have like 12 songs or more on each of them, and you wrote and you hired musicians to make them, and you were like, it's a practical joke. What happened was we found Mark David Chapman's notebook with his lyrics in it, and I thought it'd be funny to convince you that this was a real band. I'd be like, oh, that actually makes more sense.
Damn. Content hounds at home. This is the end of the podcast. So have a great evening. Go do what makes you feel good. Go ballerina on that coffee table. Do it. It's common. We all do it. And listen, if you enjoy this podcast and you want some more Lyric Boys action, do me a favor and subscribe on whatever podcast platform you are listening on, because we are on all of them, and we're on YouTube if you want to see our mediocre white boy faces. And hey, we're on social media at The Lyric Boys. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we are on TikTok, baby. And hey, we like hearing from you, so follow us there and reach out to us. We'll probably respond, and we'll read it on the pod. I don't know anything. I'm just trying to live my life and keep it upstairs and not take on the U.S. Army armed with only a Spalding tennis racket. Andrew,
Yes.
You got anything to say?
I do, ladies and gentlemen, content hounds. If you like music, presumably you've gotten through like an hour and a half of this podcast, so hopefully you like music. I have music that I made. Case in point, listen to what's playing right now. Oh yeah, I made that. If you want to hear more like it, go to my Bandcamp page, which is freelancerny.bandcamp.com. Freelancer, that's the name of my musical project, and I have some songs there that maybe I'll talk about doting like a ballerina. on a coffee table. Maybe I won't, but you have to go there to find out.
Everyone, that's it. Go home. Turn this podcast off. Listen to another episode that we've done. Or do whatever you want. I don't know. Bye-bye.